Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. It's a sad and crazy world, isn't it? Now, it's not going to be a very long live, this. It's a trigger warning because I'm going to tell you about day 2 of Sara Sharif's, the trial of her father, her stepmother, and her uncle. And it's getting worse, I'm afraid. I even thought, God, am I even going to cover this? But I've got to cover it because I covered this case right from the beginning. I stick with the cases that I start off with, and I start covering something. Go through with it till the end. But this is going to be a tough one. This is going to really be a tough one because it's. Anyway, just seems to get worse and worse to hear about what Sarah had to go through. But it's important, of course, it's important that we talk about it and that she's not forgotten. So that's the most important thing. So as always, I just want to start by saying thank you to everybody. Thank you for supporting my channel by liking, by subscribing. Thank you to those of you who go that bit further, become a member or gift memberships. Also, thank you to those of you who buy Ko-fis or send super stickers or PayPal me, email me, message me. Thank you so much. Now, I just want to say a little thing about messages. I don't really get around to Facebook messages and things like that, to answering them. That's quite difficult. Best way to contact me and that is to email me. Always the best. Vicky Marie Chats at Vicky with an I, Vicky Marie Chats at gmail.com. Is always because I do check my emails every day and I try and reply to everyone. At some point, I may not reply immediately, but I normally try and get around to answering people. Because I do appreciate you've taken some time to email me. If I do miss replying to you, I'm so sorry. It's not anything. Sometimes if I haven't got time to reply in the moment, as time goes on, I do get quite a lot of emails. So that, it just gets lost in the emails. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. But thank you. I appreciate the thought of anybody emailing me. I don't ignore people deliberately. What else do I want to say? So let's see if we can get through this. I've had a couple of interesting lives. Last night it was electricity going off because of the storm. Today it was the shopping arriving and everything was going mad. I don't seem to be able to get through a live without any incident, do I? So let's see how far I can get through this live before, all hell breaks loose one way or another, as it normally does. You can hear the neighbours outside as I speak. Soon as it's been quiet, nobody's been outside. As soon as I start doing a live, there they are. Anyway, so let me just say hello to everyone. I feel like I was supposed to say something else. Oh yeah, don't forget to send me your Halloween things in. Thank you to those of you who've already sent things in. So at the end, on Halloween evening, we're going to have a fun stream. Every now and again we leave true crime behind, don't we? And we have a bit of fun. We're going to tell some spooky stories. I may do some true crime, like Halloween, things that happened at Halloween, or maybe not, I don't know. Maybe just some spooky ghost stories, or I'll be dressed up, that's for sure. I haven't decided what as yet, but I'll definitely be dressed up. And I hope you will be dressed up and send me your photos. So I want all your Halloween pictures. It could be, maybe somebody's done their house up for Halloween or something you associate with Halloween. Last year we did masks. That was good. People sent me in photos of them in Halloween masks. Do that, or dress your animals up, or anything related to Halloween. send me to that email, to Vicky Marie Chats, Vicky with an I, @gmail.com. And I will show the photos, and we'll have some fun. We'll probably have, you like a quiz, don't maybe a Halloween quiz or something. Not decided exactly what format it'll take, but it'll be a bit more fun. Okay, I'm going to say hello to everybody, and as I say, trigger warning, because we're going to go through what happened on day 2 of Sara Sharif's trial. And, just when you think things can't get any worse, they just get worse, unfortunately, with this case. Can't see it getting any better, to be honest. Okay, let's say hello. Hi, Chumba. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Angel. Hi, David. Hi, Lily Paulie. Yeah, justice for Sarah, that's for sure. Hi, Lorna. Yeah, remember Wolfie? Yeah. Hi, Heather. Yeah, that's where David got his nickname, Wolfie, wasn't it? Yeah, and I was thinking I won't do any pumpkins. I was thinking about it. Trouble is, I think about a lot of things. I've never got time to do anything, but I'll definitely do something Halloweeny. I'll dress up. Yeah, I'll go down the Chinese shop and look for a disguise. Look for a costume. I'm not going to disguise. You'll know who I am. Yes, I've got my food shopping. Alfie, we've got food in the house now. We're stocked up for a day. I know. We're stocked up for a little while. Okay, so let me put a picture of Sara up. There is a picture up, of course, in the corner, but let's have a closer look. This little girl, when you look at this photo, she just looks angelic, doesn't she? It's just terrible to think about what she was hiding. And anyway, in today's trial, in the trial today, in the trial events, if you like, today, we found out why in the last few weeks of her life or few months of her life, she started dressing differently. Sara had never had to wear a hijab before, and none of the other children, it turns out, wore one. I thought it might be because they became more radical, more traditional in their way. No. So it turns out that it looks like that the reason that poor little Sara was seen much more often in hijab and, trousers, etc., is because of the scars and the injuries that she had. And so it seems like she was dressed like this to hide the injuries. It was nothing to do with religion whatsoever. And of course, that's probably why that she did get teased, if she did, by the children at school, because if she'd never been dressed like that before, children, anything different, probably if she'd always been dressed like that from day one, there must be other children at the school that are Muslim, but maybe she was made fun of because she'd never worn a hijab before. None of the other children wore a hijab, and really up to quite sort of recently before she died, neither had Sara. So it seems like the reason that she was suddenly dressing in hijab, or they were dressing her in hijab, or whatever it was, is because to hide her injuries, which is so very sad. She's smiling on every photo that you see her, isn't she? I mean, on this one, I think it's like that Mona Lisa smile, isn't it? But nearly every photo we see of her, she's smiling. And yet what was going on in the background is just terrible. Hi, Seffi. Anyway. So, as I say, I'm not looking forward to telling you this, but having said that, I think it's important that it's known just that what is going to happen to these These people, oh my God, they get a massive sentence. They better have, because if they don't, I'm just going to go mad, I think. Just awful. So let's have a look. As I say, trigger warning. So apparently Sara Sharif was hooded and beaten during 2 years of abuse, the murder trial was told today. She was hooded, restrained and beaten with a belt buckle and a pole and a cricket bat, apparently. So I presume they found DNA on these items. That's how they'll know what was used. So she was hooded, restrained and beaten with a belt buckle and a pole in a campaign, and a cricket bat, in a campaign of abuse lasting more than 2 years before her death. Taxi driver Irfan Sharif, 42, is on trial at the Old Bailey, accused of his 10-year-old daughter's murder alongside her stepmother Bainash Batul, 30, and uncle Faisal Malik, 29. Police found Sarah's body in a bunk bed in her home in Woking, Surrey, on August the 10th last year, following a call from Sharif in Pakistan saying that he beat her up too much for being naughty. That's what he said, wasn't it? It is alleged that Sarah died 2 days before. So they're saying 2 days before now. Oh, yeah, because the day before, that's the day that they fled the country, yeah. And within hours, the defendants had booked a flight out of the country. So this is them in court again, another bad picture. I don't think any of those, the only one that looks a bit like them is her. But I don't think, the way they've represented the father looks nothing like him. So apparently another thing that's come out today is in messages to her sisters. And this is what will make you even more, it seems like the sisters knew about it, because in messages to her sisters, Batul accused Sharif of beating his daughter up, saying, "Something happens to Sarah, I will not be able to forgive myself." In May 2021, 2 years earlier, oh, there's the Chihuahua, she wrote, "Irfan beat the crap out of Sarah. She's covered in bruises, literally beaten black. I feel really sorry for Sarah. Poor girl can't walk. Can't walk. I really want to report him." Now, it did occur to me that maybe the reason that this twonk of a father calls himself a father is not even entitled to use that word, is he? This Irfan. Father. Did occur to me that I wonder if why did he hate Sarah so much that he seems like he picked on Sarah more than the others? And is it because she reminded him of Olga, the Polish woman that he was married to? Maybe he still carried a bit of a candle for Olga. Maybe Sarah reminded him of Olga, or maybe he was trying to punish Olga. Sometimes these people, they do things like this, to punish not only men but women. They hurt the children to punish the other parent, because they hurt what will hurt them. Or it did occur to me, I wonder if he was still in love with Olga, even, maybe angry with her for leaving him, if she did leave him, or maybe she had a new boyfriend, or whatever. I don't know the exact reasons why they split up. Maybe there was domestic violence there. Because I just wonder, why is he so cruel to Sarah in particular? Anyway, prosecutor William Emlyn Jones Casey said that evidence, including a soiled nappy, makeshift hoods, and a variety of potential weapons such as rolling pins and a cricket bat, suggested that more than one adult was involved. So was Sarah just like the punching bag in that family? Like when they had a bad day, let's all go and beat Sarah up. And how could you? I mean, I'd just like to know, seriously. We all lose our shit here and there, don't we? I mean, none of us are beyond losing our shit. But you look at, I'm just wondering how you could look at that little face and do those kind of things. How? You've got to be something wrong with you, isn't there? There's something, that's more than just smacking a child. We've all lost our shit with our kids, I think. It's difficult sometimes not to, give them a smack on the back of the legs or, and of course nowadays that's frowned upon, isn't it? But this is different. This is not just a smack here and there or, this is sustained abuse over years. Beating a little girl so much that, she can't even wear normal clothes. It's more, and the three of them, were they all doing it? What gave these? I feel like I'm looking into the eyes of the devil with all three of them, to be honest. This is not a moment of madness. This is sustained abuse over years. They're all evil, all of them. Honestly, just terrible, terrible. I just cannot, get my head around it. As I say, a moment of madness, I don't know. We're all capable of losing our shit sometimes, but just looking at her little face, and those were the faces that were looking back at her. Just can't compute, can you? Actually, I was watching, guess what, a true crime video the other day, and there was a policeman on it. He was really interested in what he was saying. A detective, it was an American guy. And I think he was interviewing somebody, not the perpetrator of something, but someone who was a witness or, had some evidence to give. And they were like, whatever it was, I can't remember what the exact case was, but whatever it was, the person that this detective was interviewing was like saying, oh, well, I just never thought they would do anything like that. Like you always hear, oh, I can't imagine them doing anything like that, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah. And the policeman said to this person, look, you and I, you don't even try to understand why somebody does something. You cannot, if you're a normal thinking person, you cannot get your head around why somebody would do something like that. Just don't even bother trying. He said something that I've learned in my career is there's no point in trying to reason why they did it, because if your mind doesn't work that way, you're never ever gonna, you just can't. So don't bother trying, basically. And I think he was right, because I think it's human nature to find, I think that's why people are interested in true crime as well. We want to understand it. We think if we can understand it, we can somehow, it can be stopped happening again, or we want to make sense of it, don't we? We want to understand why people do these horrible things. But it's true, we can't really understand it. We can never get your head around. There are some crimes you can understand. Sometimes you'll be, I don't know, I'm trying to think for an example, but not these kind of crimes. You could never get your head around it. You could never, ever in a million years, if you're just, a normal person, you can never, ever get your head around this. So a post-mortem examination found that Sarah suffered dozens of injuries, including probable human bite marks, an iron burn, and scalding from hot water. So there's nothing that they didn't do to this girl. I just nothing. And I mean, the masks. There was also evidence she'd been restrained with her head covered with homemade hoods comprised of parcel tape and plastic bags. Jurors have heard. They put plastic bags over her head. Fingerprints allegedly belonging to her father, Sharif, were found on one of the bags that was tested by forensics and on the non-adhesive side of a bit of parcel tape. Traces of the 10-year-old's blood were discovered on the kitchen floor, a vacuum cleaner, and a cricket bat. So traces of her blood were found on the cricket bat in the vacuum cleaner. Following a police search of the family home, the prosecution said, I've got to be honest, and I'll be honest with you now, I don't know. I mean, I hope it won't happen, but I say I was nearly not even going to do this video because I was just thinking, I can't do this. I don't like doing child cases, but of course this came up last year and it's the trial. How can I not report on it? But we'll have to see how it goes, because I just hope this is, how deep does this go? I mean, how much worse can it get? Anyway, the court heard that expert analysis of the child's bruises concluded they could have been caused by a pole or the buckle of a belt recovered from a children's Wendy house in the garden. And then it gets a bit worse, because you feel like something might have been able to have been done, because a neighbour told police that 2 days before Sarah's death, she had heard a single high-pitched scream, which lasted a couple of seconds and then suddenly stopped. Mr. Emlyn Jones, KC, said it sounded to her like the scream of someone in pain, and as she put it, it didn't sound good. Jurors heard that other neighbours from when the Sharif family lived in West Byfleet and later in Woking had heard screams, smacking and crying. So they'd heard this. Neighbours from different places where they'd lived, and nobody had reported it. I'm not saying, I mean, I heard it once, this twonk next door on this side. Well, I was in class, in class with a class full of students, and he was whacking the hell out of his son, who was only about 2 at the time, really smacking him. You could hear it as loud as anything. Now, that's the only time that I've ever heard that. I mean, his son is about 10 now, but I've not heard anything since. But I did say to him about it during COVID, when we had an argument about something. I said to him, we were all sat there listening to you smack. Now, if I would have heard that over and over again, I would have had to have reported it. It's like, he's a great big grown man and he was smacking this little boy. It was horrible. We were all just sat there listening and like, oh my God. But I never heard it again. But it sounds like these people, they've heard these things over and over again. Rebecca Spencer told of sounds of banging and rattling, as if someone was trying to get out of a door that would not open. Thing is, you always have to report these things. When I think about it, I should have reported that at the time. because, as I say, if I would have heard it again, I definitely would have. But it was a one-off. It was a one-off. But if you think, have you heard that on a regular basis? Surely you've got to go to the police or ring anonymously or something. So this Rebecca Spencer allegedly told police, on the occasions that I would hear these banging and rattling sounds, they would often be accompanied by the sounds of a child crying or screaming, followed by complete silence. You know, sorry, and it's not the neighbour's fault. They didn't murder Sarah, but I think really if they heard that often, like saying often, they should have reported it. Should have reported it. On these occasions, I can only describe the silence as deathly quiet, and I cannot even imagine what had happened to make the crying or screaming child become immediately so silent. Miss Spencer also described bangs from inside the Sharif's flat, so this must be where they lived before, like someone had been hit or smacked, the court was told. And Mr. Emlyn Jones said she considered reporting it to social services, but ultimately decided against it. Now, as we've been talking about, it is difficult to go to social services. It is difficult. You know, it's difficult. It's difficult. I don't know, Seffi, if the other kids return to England. I don't know. I'll have a little Google in a minute because I don't know that. Maybe they stayed in India with the family, maybe. Now, what you're just saying there, though, David, have you seen this? In March 2020, another neighbour, Chloe Redwin, allegedly heard children screaming and the mother shouting, "Shut the F up and go to your room, you effing bastard." Now, having said that, look at the next bit. She told of loud smacking followed by gut-wrenching screams of a young girl and the mother shouting, "Shut up," jurors were told. Yeah, I think they were all doing it, to be honest. I think he's killed her. He was doing the worst of it. And I think that note he left saying, "Love you, Sarah," and I can't believe it. I think he just did that just to try and make it look as if he cared about Sarah. I don't think he cared about Sarah, and I honestly think it's probably because she reminded him of the mother, Olga. And he's never, he's not forgiven her for leaving him or for whatever. And then the same with the stepmother. She's probably jealous of her because of the previous relationship. As far as the uncle's concerned, I don't know about him. Maybe he's just a twat who just followed what they were doing. But according to what these neighbours are saying, it was the mother shouting, "Shut up." Loud smacking followed by gut-wrenching screams of a young girl and the mother shouting, "Shut up." Now, having said that, another time when I've heard this twonk on this side of me, he definitely hit someone. I don't know if he hit the wife or they've got an older girl, and she, who maybe the mother was shouting at her to shut up because she didn't want the father getting too angry. Who knows? Who knows? The court heard that Sarah appeared to have a number of household chores, including taking the bins out each week and hanging up washing. Now, I'm not against children having chores, My son had chores. Oh God, you'd think, because he had to vacuum the stairs. He probably did them about 3 times in his whole life. But, you think he was like slave labour. Uh, it didn't work getting him to do chores because it never really I remember when he was little buying him a kitchen. Like, and he was, he always liked cooking in the kitchen. I bought him like a mop and bucket, and when he was a kid, I was determined. I'm not going to buy like traditional boys' toys. I'm going to buy sort of unisex toys, a little kitchen, a mop and bucket, all the cleaning stuff, and try and encourage him to. Didn't work. Didn't work. Within a couple of years, all he wanted was a gun and army things, and sometimes you just can't. I really do believe you know people like what they like from a very young age. You know, uh, he wanted to come. It's like, I'm not saying he likes guns now, he doesn't. But I was trying to bring him up like not like how can I put it? Not exactly gender fluid. It's not like that, but just not buying traditional boys things and let him pick his own things that he likes instead of me think, oh, this is a boys thing, you should have this, or this, oh no, you can't have that because it's a girls thing. I was just trying to be open with it, but he just went straight over to the boys things anyway. And I think that's it. I think kids will go to what they like, no matter what you try and make them do. And that's it. If it's a boy and he likes dolls, he's going to like dolls. Just give him the blooming dolls, Or if it's a girl who doesn't like dolls and likes, boys things, or what we think of as boys things, just let them have it. Just let them be what they are. But yeah, it didn't work as far as the cleaning was concerned. Did work with the cooking because he does like cooking. So that worked. But he doesn't like washing up. He likes the cooking bit, but don't like the cleaning up afterwards bit. So it didn't work anyway. All that you know what you like when you have kids, and you think, oh, you've watched everybody else have kids and they've done it all wrong. You've watched it, and I've got my family, my sisters, brothers, etc. with kids. I've watched it all. I've babysat from afar. Come on, why are you letting them do that? And, it's easy bringing up kids. You just have to do this, that, or then, of course, you have kids and you find out it's nothing like you think it is. It's bloody difficult, and they never do what you want them to do. So I'm not against kids having household chores. I think it's good that they should have chores, in respect of and commensurate with their age and what they're capable of. I don't think you can make little kids, do things that they can't, do the ironing when they're 3 or whatever. No. But, I think there's always something like, there was taking the rubbish out to the bin and things like that you can do. I don't know about taking the bins out, but taking the rubbish and putting it in the bin, kids can do, of course. Anyway, university student and part-time McDonald's worker Malik moved in December 2022. So this is the uncle, and was present when screaming and slapping was going on, according to Miss Redwin. The thing is, they all knew in that house what was going on. Whoever was doing it, if it's just the father who was doing it, they all knew it was going on. So apparently from last January, Sara began to wear a hijab to school, which the court heard was unusual as she'd never worn one before, and neither did anyone else in her family. So the reason she's wearing that is because you can't see the injuries, can't see the bruises. Because it all looks, it's logical now. Hi, Annie. Yeah, you'd like to be a chef, Jumba. You'd like to be a chef. I was trying my best, David, to do that, but it didn't work. Didn't work at all. David says, kids are great when they're sleeping. Yeah. Yeah, they are actually. It's nice when they go to bed and you get a bit of peace. Or when you go to school, Annie. When they go to school, as long as they're going to school. And then, of course, as they get older, then they start wagging it from school. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. So, from last January, she started to wear a hijab, bless her. And Mr. Emlyn Jones suggested the fact that Sara began to wear the hijab around this time is indicative of the need to conceal injuries to her face and head from the outside world. How sad. Jurors heard of concerns about Sara's injuries at her school before she was homeschooled. Then they started homeschooling. Homeschool last April, 4 months before her death. That's another red flag, isn't it? You know, wearing the hijab. Then she was supposedly bullied by the other kids, so they said that's why they took her out of school. The school recorded that Sara had a bruise under her left eye in June 2022, and then in March 2023, a bruise on her chin and a dark mark on her right eye. The school contacted Children's Single Point of Access for advice, and it was agreed that a referral to social services was needed. Well, that's good. Well, not good really, the way things turned out. They didn't save Sara, did they? Sara's teacher, Helen Simmons, described her as a happy child who at times would be sassy. When he asked Sara about bruises last March, she gave conflicting explanations and pulled her hijab to hide her face. Mr. Emlyn Jones also told jurors about an odd detail in the case, the absence of a Ring doorbell camera at the family home when Sara's body had been found, even though one had been bought just a month before. Yeah, what happened to the Ring doorbell camera? And so the defendants of Hammond Road in Woking have denied murder and causing or allowing the death of a child between December the 16th, 2022 and August the 9th, 2023. So that's horrible, isn't it? The details coming out. Look, she's smiling there. She's smiling on every photo you see of her, even though it's maybe it's not a smile that's touching her eyes. I don't know. Ay. Right, I'm going to Google that. Did the kids come over? No, they're still in Pakistan, apparently. The Surrey County Council are trying to get them back. But they're still in Pakistan, where they were taken by their father, Irfan Sharif, and the mother of the younger 4 siblings. So there's 5 children, one of which is Sara's full brother, isn't it? Olga's son. And then the other 4 children are the children of Irfan and Bainash. But they're still in Pakistan. They're probably better off in Pakistan, to be honest. They'll be with family, won't they? But I don't know. The social services are trying to get them back. I suppose the social services or the Surrey, they'll want to see if they were abused as well. Because that's not clear, is it? Whether they've suffered any abuse or not. And the longer that they keep them in Pakistan, any injuries that they did have will be healing, won't they? I mean, there's still their testimony, of course, but if they had any injuries, but there'll be things in the house that'll have been found, like, if they've found blood of the other children, maybe on some of these objects, like the cricket bat, etc. They may have found blood from the other children. So yeah. Yes, it's very sad. I did warn you it would be sad. Yeah, they are witnesses as well. Yeah. The thing is, there's no extradition treaty with Pakistan. Can you extradite children anywhere? I don't know. But how are they going to get them back, really? They'd have to persuade the family to send them back. Yeah. I wonder who they're with. They've got quite a lot of family in Pakistan. They went through their whole family, didn't they? Trying to stay with the different members of the family till in the end the family got fed up because the Pakistani police just kept raiding them, and it ended up, they couldn't even leave the house. So, but yeah, that's right. That's why they'll want the children to stay there, because they're witnesses. But there will be. I'm sure they'll have found some forensic evidence. I'm sure they found them some forensic evidence. Surely, that may come up now later in the trial. So this is where we're at on. It's only day 2. It's supposed to last 9 weeks. So there's obviously a lot more evidence to come out. My God, it's like every day a lot's coming out. So it makes you wonder, is some of the evidence that's going to come out going to be about the other children, and about maybe on that cricket bat, etc. There's the blood of the other children as well. What a house of horror! But it does. It's upsetting that the neighbours regularly heard all this and didn't do anything. But I know it's difficult. It is difficult. But you can phone anonymously, can't you? And I would, as long as you can phone anonymously, it is scary. I know that. You live next door. You don't want any trouble. People don't want to get involved. They don't want any problems brought on themselves. But surely you could phone anonymously. It's not a child. This is about a dog. One of my students just recently, it was a bit of a long story, but not a friend of theirs, but an acquaintance of theirs had been round at their house, a party of all things, like a birthday party. And this couple that owned this house where they went, they just got a new dog. It was only a puppy, and they punched this dog. The woman in front of my student punched the dog because it was jumping up or whatever. So my student said, "Oh, you can't do that. What are you doing that for? It's only a puppy. What are you doing punching it?" And this woman, if I can call her that, said, "Oh, well, it shouldn't be jumping up. It's got to learn. It's got to learn." Anyway, so he was saying to me, like, "What do you think I should do?" And I said, "You just ring the police." I said, "I'll ring them if you want." Because he didn't know what you do in Spain for animal cruelty. I mean, they're very down on it, no matter what people think. They don't tolerate animal cruelty at all, like domestic animals. So I said, look, you just go to the policia locale. And of course, he didn't want these, he didn't want problems with these people, etc. Anyway, we found there is you can report things anonymously. And he reported it twice, actually, he's reported them. So we don't, but unfortunately, he's fallen out with them now. So we don't know if the police ever did go round and do anything. And then I was saying to him, just kidnap the dog, just take it. But I just don't understand. Just don't understand people doing these things. Sounds like there's a disco starting up outside. Can you hear the music? Oh dear. So, yeah, I mean, definitely if I saw an animal being treated like that, I mean, thing is, it's difficult to this cruelty, and it is like what you like. I don't like the way my neighbours leave their dog sometimes, but I don't think it. I think it wouldn't be something. They don't hit it. I've never seen them hit the dog or anything like that, but it's just so difficult. Why can't people just be nice? Why can't people just be nice? Why do they have to be twonks? What is it with people? Anyway, you might realise I'm getting a bit tired now, because I am tired, because I've not finished work long. I have had a long day. Tuesdays is a long day now, but I wanted to come on and give Sara's story. I wanted to say, what had happened in day 2, and every day I will give an update if there is one. If there's new things going on, and I think there will be justice for Sara. I think, but I hope all 3 of them go down for something at least. It's looking like the father's going to go down for murder, but anyway. So, don't forget to send me your Halloween pictures. I'm just going to have a look at if there's any news on Victoria Taylor. I keep looking at the Victoria Taylor case. I don't think there is, but I could be wrong. No. So we're going into the 3rd week that Victoria Taylor is missing. Nothing. So she's not been found. Yeah. Anyway, I'll do an update on that. Not that there's really anything to update, but I need to do an update on Jack O'Sullivan as well, like on the latest with him and that. So I've just been trying to catch up with things, but I will definitely be doing, covering the Sarah Sharif case and what happens every day. Bless her. Okay, so bless little Sarah. Let's have a look. We'll put a candle. I'm going to have to put together a little tribute video. She's not going to stop barking now. Okay, I'm off. So I'll see you tomorrow. So I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, as always, may your God go with you. Bless. Thank you.